Aloha. That looked more like a how, huh? How? Ah, just kidding. Melikamikimaka, everyone. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. I mean, today's not Christmas, but, it's Christmas time. And it's the best time of the year. Because why? Anyone? Duh. Because it's the day of our Savior. The day He was born. The day all of our lives changed. And I don't know about anyone else, but it is definitely my favorite time of the year. It's the year that we come together and we help everyone out. We become a human race, and we decide to put ourselves aside, well, some of us, hopefully most of us, to help others, and to come together and, just give a little bit of ourselves to others who, don't really see much for themselves, be it material things or, just inside, just emotional and just self-being. I gotta say, you should be doing it all year round, really. But now more than ever is when we really show that. And why wouldn't you be overly excited about that? It's not about the one who's receiving it, it's about the one who's giving. And knowing why you're doing that sets it gives something a little special in here, a little extra, it's difficult to say because it's a feeling. It's not something that's, so much expressed in words, but it's a warming of your heart. It's something that breaks down the walls that you have and gives you a sense of just real happiness, for that moment. To see somebody else's life, changed, enlightened, just made better a little, even if it's just a little bit, by something that you're able to do for them. A lot of people say this that have children. It's the look on their face. It's seeing the happiness just rise out of them. That gives them, that makes their day, that makes them the most happiest. That's how I am. I am a gift giver. I hate it if I don't have enough money to give somebody a gift that they specifically want, even though I know it's not about that, but I like to see others happy, even if I'm not happy, because when I see someone else happy, then it's kind of hard not to get happy yourself, so and we were given the greatest gift ever, which is the reason for the season. I know everyone says that, but it truly is. It is the reason for this day, that we all celebrate. It's turned into a lot of different things over the years, obviously, Santa and reindeer and elves and presents and whatnot. But if it weren't for the greatest gift of all, this day would mean nothing. Nothing at all. Our lives would really mean nothing. Not having that little something extra to keep you going. I don't know how non-believers do. I personally don't understand their way of life. To each their own. But for me, it's knowing that there's something more out there makes me want to be more, makes me want to do more, makes me want to learn more. It gives me a purpose, understanding that there's something else bigger than I am, with a purpose higher than mine, waiting to see what it'll be, waiting to understand where we come from and where we're going, and you know, I mean, I just think it's awesome. You know, going through life without any type of belief. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, for me, I don't understand, because it's not my way of thinking, but just not really knowing what drives you, you know. What are you working towards if there's nothing else there? Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't understand. But others do, apparently. So I don't, that's theirs, not mine. But, either way, it's, the season it just means a lot of the same to all of us. However it comes together for anyone. Again, it's, you know, it's us coming together as a human race to help one another. And hopefully, you know, hopefully you hope, anyway, you hope that the tidings that we give during this time of the year will go on. You know, they surpass just the season. For many, it does not. But I would absolutely suggest that and hope that, you know, you take those thoughts on. I remember, maybe it was about a year ago, I guess, I went to Togo's to get lunch one day, and I didn't have any cash on me. I'm just using a card, and when I walked in, there was a man outside, and he was digging through the trash, and, you know, your heart breaks a little bit to know that people have to do that kind of thing. You know, that life doesn't help everyone out the same way, that life doesn't work the same way for everyone. And so while I stood in there, I just kept thinking about him, and I looked around, and he was gone. But I did anyway get cash out when I left, and I didn't see him. I looked around the whole little complex, didn't see him. And I got in the car, and I said, this was like during summer, I think. And I just told God, I said, if you want me, this is right, if you want me to give this, you know, this man some help, let me see him on the way back to work. And I did. Driving down the street, happened to look down to my left, down one of the further streets, and I saw him walking. And so I flipped around and turned back and went down and gave him $20. Normally, that's not something I would have done before. I was very skeptic, you know, about things and whatnot. And but when you see someone digging through the trash, that's kind of hard to be a scam, you know. So, and I'm the type that if someone's at the gas station and they need money, I give them money if I have it. It's just something that I do. I don't really care if you're scamming me or not. It's somebody needs it for some reason, so I give it. But I drove up, and I pulled over and stopped and rolled my window down and handed him the money. And his face just lit up. And he's obviously been homeless for a while. We'll just say it that way. And I don't know if I've ever seen anything so beautiful. And it touched my heart. I mean, it just really, really did. Especially being something that but that I'm normally very skeptical of, whatever, make up my own words. Anyway, I didn't make up that word, but whatever, moving on. You know, and to see that, because I mean, if any of you have done this, you know, the people that kind of stand on the corners, or at the end of freeways or whatnot, and they have their sign, you know, hungry or need money for this or whatever it is. You know, we kind of look at them like Okay. We make our judgment. We all do it. I've done it. I'm not going to lie and say I haven't. And, you kind of, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it's kind of like whoever has the good enough sign is going to get my money. And that's awful. I mean, it really is. It shouldn't be that way. But unfortunately, there are people out there who do this on purpose to make their money, and not as genuine as, sometimes as the man going through the trash. Forgot where I was going with this, but anyway, it's, before it was something where I just kind of went by, didn't really think about it, you do whatever. Like I said before, the people at the gas station always get me. Whether it's for real or it's not, they always get me. So, actually, I don't think any time I've ever done it, it's ever actually been real. Now that I think about it. Anyway, whatever. They obviously needed it more than I did. But that's the point. It's more about trusting what your heart says over what your head says. I'm a little bit ashamed to say that more oftentimes than not, I went with my head instead of my heart. And I don't know where that money could have gone. I don't know what it could have done. And I am a very, very big supporter of no drugs. Just say no. And so for a long time, if I thought for a moment somebody was using the money to purchase drugs or cigarettes or alcohol, there's no way you're getting my money. No way. I'm not working to support your habits. But now, I mean, of course, that's not what I would want the money to go for. Obviously, you want it to help more than anything, but to each their own. I've had an uncle who has been an alcoholic since, I don't know, forever, as long as I can remember. Mainly since he had his accident and had his brain damage. It's hard to tell somebody who doesn't understand and can't remember much that they can't have anything that they want, especially when they're basically it's probably the only thing they have in life anymore. I mean, to look forward to. It's a hard thing to do. But watching him, knowing that alcohol only hinders him more than it does help him, it's, you do everything that you can to make his life better, not worse. And a mother who was very much addicted to drugs, you grow up in a life where you see what it does to others, and you don't want to contribute to others having to go through it. That's where it came from for me. That's how I saw it. But not so much for the drugs, with alcohol. It's difficult. Many of these people that I see out there look a lot like my uncle. Because many of them are vets, and this country does not treat our veterans the way it should. I mean, it's just a very unfortunate situation. So I tend to do that. I tend to look at these people as if they're my uncle, and what would happen if he was out there? Would somebody help him? Or would they just walk by him and thinking that he's just some drug addict that, doesn't care about life or anything? We make these judgments, and it's just one of those things where you kind of take a step back and you're like, oh, wow, I would have never thought of it that way before. So, anyway, point being, I would encourage you to think that way a little more. Not just now, but, throughout the year. Many people are going through things that some of us could never imagine. And some of us have lost people that makes things so unimaginable for us during this time of year. Where everybody kind of does their own thing, and it just makes them make decisions that land them in places they never saw themselves. And sometimes that's on the street. It's unfortunate. It really is. And I want to basically just encourage everyone to understand that when you're helping the homeless, or when you decide to go, serve at a soup kitchen or a mission, or you're donating things, and all these different things that we do for good reasons, for the good of humanity. Remember that what you're putting out means absolutely nothing if it doesn't do something here. If your intent does not come from here. And what do I mean by that? Do I mean that if you don't feel like it's from the heart, you shouldn't do it? Not necessarily. What I'm saying is that you're cheating yourself. Yeah, you're giving these people, warm coats and food and, donations for this, that, or the other. And they're getting it. But what are you doing? I mean, it's a two-way street. It's supposed to be, the goodness that you give and the goodness that you do is supposed to come back to you also. And not necessarily that's why you do it. It's just the way it happens. And if you don't understand why you're doing it, you'll never understand the reward that comes back. And for those who volunteer in an actual setting where you're interacting with them, that's another thing. I mean, if you go into it like, I'm here for the purpose of, this looks good on a resume, on a high school, transcript, or college transcripts, or whatever, or because, it's community service for some people, and you're interacting with these people, and they can see that you're not really there for the reasons that you should be. They notice that stuff. And I mean, I know for me, I'm not somebody who wants, if I was in this situation, I don't want somebody helping me just because they're forced to help me for some reason. They're obligated. Don't help me then. I would rather have somebody come to me and who would sit down and listen to my stories, who would sit down and try to understand where I'm coming from, because they come from all different walks of life. Not everybody is there because they're a drunk or an addict, or whatever it is. Drunk was probably not the right word to use. Alcoholic, whatever, you know what I mean. And it's this country hit a huge economical low, and there are families that are still out there struggling, who still don't have anywhere to live, who still can't find jobs, and they get looked at like they're failures. They're sitting there with their families, their kids, and I've seen people look at the families and make their judgments, and it's like, you don't even understand. Take for just a moment and think about, what if I lost my job today and I couldn't get unemployment because the state is ridiculous and our government is, a little off, and we're not all put together right, and I had nothing. What happens? Then what? How would people look at me? Am I a failure because I did my job and my company closed down, and I couldn't afford to pay my mortgage because my company shut down, or the company I work for shuts down, and That's not your fault. That's not your failure. You are just a casualty of what things are, and that's what a lot of these people are. So I mean, that's something that I would really, really urge everyone to take a minute and reflect on that. I'm not saying everybody, is awful to the homeless and transients and so on and so forth. That's not what I'm saying. But if you've ever had that moment, or you've ever been the one that's given something in an obligation type form, that's all I'm asking. Just sit down and kind of reflect on it. It's unfortunate that as a community of a human race that we are, that we have really gone away from just being loving towards another person. This world is awful. I mean, it's, as difficult as it is sometimes that Grandma's not here anymore. I'm really happy that she doesn't have to be around this anymore. That all the painful memories and all the awful things that happen here, she'll never know about anymore. It's one of those things that kind of gets you through. I'm saying a lot. Sorry. Sorry. But anyway, point being, it's just kind of the world that we live in, unfortunately. And I think that I've said this before, maybe not on video, but definitely somewhere, that if more people had Jesus in their life, okay, believe it or not, however you want to take it, that the world would be just such a better place. I mean, I was in a situation the other day where there was an argument going on. Normally, I'm right in there in the middle of it, trying to, either defend someone, defend myself, or proving a point, whatever it is, and could tend to let it get to me. And this moment I did not, and I just kind of sat back and watched, or listened, sort of, and just thought, oh, there's just so much love in here that I can't even get upset. It's just what it is. He's totally filled my heart, consumed it with just all the love in the world, and I cannot understand what life was like for me before. I just really cannot. Because it's just so much better. I love being able to sit on the outside and look in and just say, whoa, what is going on with you people? You definitely need Jesus. And it's funny because every time I would hear people say that before, it was more like a judgment. Like you hear them say like, oh, that person needs Jesus. Well, first of all, everybody needs him. So let's just clear that up right now. Whether you think you do or you don't. You do. But now it's like, when I say it, I mean, I'm literally meaning, if you had Jesus, it would take a whole lot to make you as angry as you are in that moment. It really does. I mean, it takes a lot to make me upset anymore. I never really took offense to much anyway. It took a lot to offend me before, unless you were talking about my faith or Jesus, family, well, just grandma, really, or just different things that mean something to me. But other than that, I mean, nothing really. It took a lot, but to get upset before did not on other things, not things I took offense to, just things that make you mad. did not take too much to get me to the point of anger, I guess. But now, it just rolls right off. I can never understand how Grandma never got upset at really anything except for Uncle Larry, because he would just annoy her when he would just not stop talking or bugging her. But even then, and I I could never understand, because these used to make me so upset for no reason. I'm a little too close to the camera, sorry. But now I understand. Wow. I mean, you have to do something like just really, really awful for it to bother me at this point. And I love that. I am so happy with that. Because I get to see more of life now. I get to enjoy it more. Not that there's a lot here to enjoy anymore, but, the little things. So, I think this year, that's what I'm most thankful for. It's been a very I don't want to say difficult, a very challenging year. For me, obviously. We have seen that I've definitely had some changes going on. And Christmas, normally, I think people would think is going to be very difficult for me. It so far has been okay, other than decorating the tree and putting up her old ornaments that we made together. I should have brought one, sorry. But we made little clothespins, right? Okay, we'll do this. Clothespins, and then you glue, like, we put like holly or little bears or whatever you want, little festive little holiday stuff on there, and then you clip them onto the tree, and it's an ornament. We used to make those when we were little, or when I was little. Grandma was younger. Or she would do ceramics, and I remember she had her own kiln, and we would pour the, I don't know what it's called. Anyway, we would pour the stuff in the molds and let them sit, and then she put them in the kiln, fire them, and they were done. I remember when you take the mold off, it leaves a little teeny tiny line around the whole thing. And so you take this little tool and you shave it off. And that's all I wanted to do. And she would never let me do that part. And it used to make me so mad as a kid. But then I got to be, I don't remember how old I was, but she finally let me do it. And so, but then she wouldn't let me paint them, because she always told me that I couldn't get the paint over halfway of the brush, because then it ruins the brush. I never understood that until now, because I've done that since then, and now it's hard to get the paint out of that top part of the brush. Anyway, and so we would do those, and we'd sit down and we'd paint the ornaments together, and she would make these wreaths and these Christmas trees, and they had little holes in them, and you could put these little plastic like translucent colored lights in them, and then it had a big light that sat inside it. You turn that light on, and then the little ones, they light up from the light underneath it. And I remember everybody had one. We had both because she made them, obviously. And it was, I always thought, well, I want one. Even though they were ours, I still wanted one. But I was too young to have one. It's too little. She thought I would break it. I probably would have. Or I probably would have written on it with the Sharpie, because I always liked doing that. I don't know why. I just did. Anyway. Sorry. Off track. But anyway, and that's what we did. And so while I was putting them on the tree, I remember too, because the last couple of years, she kept trying to get me to take my ornaments home. And I just kept forgetting it. And then I thought, well, if I don't want to take them, because then I'll leave them in the car, and then I won't take them out, because I do stuff like that. And so finally last year, I took them. And it's so weird. It's a good thing I did, because I wouldn't have had them for this year, probably. Who knows what would have happened to them. So as I put them on, I just remembered all of it. And I remembered all of our Christmases where we were still here in Sacramento. We had a house that had a fireplace, and we had this cool little tree. And I remember I got finger paints that year. Finger paints, some little desk, like bench, workbench type thing, maybe for painting, and my cabbage Patch doll, Madison. Madison? Yes, her name was Madison. No, her name was not Madison. Oh yeah, it was. No, it was not. It was Mavis. That was her name. Yes. And for some reason, Grandma always made me remember it. And then she got me a boy, I think, the next year, but I don't know what happened to the boy. I don't know what happened to Mavis. But all I wanted to play with was the finger paints. And I got the finger paints all over the carpet, because I had the paper, and I kept wanting to go like this. And I got all over the carpet. And it was the finger paints from, the 80s. So that finger paint did not come off. So who's ever in that house now, if you've never changed the carpets, I'm sorry for that stain. Sorry. And then we had, there was another year where we went and cut down our own tree. And then there was a year where we could not afford a tree. And so this friend of ours that was living with us went and cut one down from somewhere. We didn't ask, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't supposed to do it. But he brought us a Christmas tree when I was younger, and I thought that we weren't going to have one that year. So I want to thank him for that, because that really made that Christmas work. And then the year, and then it was the year I found all the gifts, and I got in trouble because I found them. I totally found them by accident. I was not looking for them. But my grandma was not really into, her hiding skills were not that great, because she hid them in my closet on the very top, and my closet didn't even have doors on them. I guess I just never looked up there until then, and I found them all. And then she hid some other ones in the closet, because once you find them up there, you're like, oh, I wonder if there's any more anywhere else. And then I looked in the closet and found them in another closet, another room. But I think the best one we had was, we had this really nice tree. It was so pretty. I'm in Grandma's way. It was so pretty. It was really full. It wasn't a noble. It was a Douglas. The noble firs, we called them candy cane trees. I don't know why. I think it was because it was easier for candy canes to hang on them. I don't know, on the branches, because they kind of stuck out like that, But this year we had a Douglas fir, and it was big, and it was really, and we just got rid of our wood burning stove, and so something happened, and we didn't have a tree stand, so I decorated it. No, I didn't. I took it and I shoved it in the corner, and I just made it stand up, and it stood up straight in the corner. So the corner of the wall was our tree stand. And then we stuck it in a coffee can to give it water. Try it. I promise it works. And the best thing about it is you don't have to decorate the whole tree. Nope. You just decorate the front. Well, like the front, like that. But it was the prettiest tree we'd ever had. And it didn't even stand up on its own. Things like that. And then every year after that, we just didn't have enough money. And so we didn't have the tree anymore. And we decorated our roll desk. A desk that, kind of the top rolls out or rolls over to shut it. Yep. That's where our present sat. And so I threw some of that, like stringed tinsel or whatever it is, strung it around there, put some lights on it, decorated it. That's right, because I can MacGyver anything. And it was funny because a friend of mine that year, they didn't get a tree either, and their Christmas tree was their couch. So they had a Christmas couch and we had a Christmas desk. That's what we did. When you grow up in a time where money just wasn't that common for everyone, and you have someone watching over you who can make anything just feel okay, not having a lot of money didn't really mean too much. That same year, no, not that same year, the year before we did the tree in the corner, we really had no money. We did not have almost anything. And I came out of the room like 7 in the morning, and Grandma we always opened one gift. We could always open one gift on Christmas Eve, but we had to eat first. And she'd make chicken pot pies, and they were the most disgusting things on earth, and I couldn't open a present until I ate my chicken pot pie. I was always so mad at her for that. And so I would eat. No, I didn't eat it. I would take it, and then I gave it to Jingles, to my dog. And I just didn't tell her. But anyway, and so I opened pajamas, probably, or some sort of clothing, or something small. And the next morning I came out, and in the tree, not under, in the tree, was a summer sausage, which is okay because I love those. They're actually some of my favorite. Was that, and then there were oranges in the tree also. And there was like a couple presents under it, but mostly everything was summer sausages and oranges. And then I go over to my stocking, and she had apples, oranges, and walnuts, and a banana in my stocking. Now, yes, as a child, I was absolutely disappointed. I mean, I was just not happy about it. But what she did do, she did it every year, but this year was even better. I don't really remember anything I got that year. But the next day, she'd always, it never failed, but sometimes I would just forget about it. She would be like, oh, I totally forgot, and here's another gift. And it would always be the best gift. She'd leave the best one for the day after Christmas. It was always so awesome. But looking back, that was probably one of my favorite Christmases that I remember. Just to think that she was just so goofy. She put fruit and walnuts and banana's fruit, in my stocking. It's clever. It's ingenious. It's a stocking stuffer. It really did fill it. But it was just so goofy. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that this year. Who knows? We'll see. Anyway, I don't remember where I was going with all that. But, so, they were good Christmases. We always had a good Christmas. The last Christmas, the actual days that I spent with her, after I'd moved, I walked in and she, kid you not, literally had a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. Not the ones you buy in the store. No. This was a tree about, let's do this side. Hold on. Let me figure out where my hands are going. Okay. So it was over here? No? Over here. Okay. So it was pretty small. Okay, I'm sorry. I just don't know how to do it I'm out of focus. But it was really small. And no kidding, this was the year before that she gave me my ornaments back. She put the ornaments on this little tree. And I think there were lights on it. It looked like a branch off of a regular tree. But it worked for her. I was so happy to walk in and see that she actually had a tree. I don't care what it looked like. If she had a branch hanging from the ceiling, I would have been okay with it. But I know how much she always did for me for Christmas and birthdays and whatever. And it was really nice to see her being able to celebrate it like that. Oh, and then we would have our the little towns, those little towns that you make. Yeah, we had those too. And I remember Chastity and my friend Angela, we were sitting there one day cutting up plastic bags to make snow. That was what we did the whole day. And it was fun, it's something to keep us occupied, and we sat and we talked, and Grandma gave us like eggnog or hot chocolate or something, I don't know, whatever it was. And she sat there and she cut up snow with us and watched TV, and it was good. It was good. But all those things come flying back to you in a moment. And it was, that moment was a little difficult, but when you think back to the actual, moments of Christmas and everything that she did and all we went through, and just everything that she did so that I could have a good Christmas. It was every year, even not being there. Not living there. It's one of those things that make it okay. It's a hard moment. But once you get past that moment, it's just nothing. It does nothing but makes me smile. And I don't know if anybody understands before, but after you lose someone, I shouldn't say lose, but after someone goes home, we'll say, you really understand Christmas a lot more. It was everything that she gave to me. It was what she tried to do for me. It was how much effort and heart that she put into everything just to make me happy. And never realizing it then, but now it's just everything she went through for me was the gift. And it's what makes me happiest. I know a lot of parents, I say we because though I have none of my own, all the children around me, I love to see them just so happy. We want to see them happy. We want to see them open up that gift that they have been telling you forever that they want, and then all of a sudden it's there. And their face lights up, and they're so excited. Those are memories that we make for ourselves. The kids are never gonna. They'll remember it, but the kids don't. In 6 months or a couple months, even for some kids, it's out of sight, out of mind. But for us, when we give it, it's like we're so happy. And I know that's what Grandma did. I know it was simply just to make me happy. And the fact that she did whatever she could to just put a smile on my face, to make my heart light up, that is what I will always remember. I may remember a gift here and there, but it's what it did for me. It's what she did for me. That makes the memory, that touches my heart, that will stay with me forever. So this Christmas and Christmases beyond, you children, you'll understand one day. For you parents, take in those moments. And for everyone out there giving, I ask you to remember that. Because that's the same thing. I have looked back, and in those moments, in all those Christmases, in all those birthdays, and just anything that she did that she just did for me, whether I deserved it or not. She gave because it made her happy to give to me, because it made her heart happy, it made her heart smile, it made it light up, it filled it with love. To see that it meant something. So I would tell you, don't take these moments for granted. I didn't. I never did. I've always known that she did it because she loved me. I've always known that she would do anything for me. There was literally nothing that she wouldn't do for me. Sorry. And it isn't until you obviously go through life that you can understand the difference between being a child and all you're thinking about is, playing with your toys and having fun and whatnot, to being able to understand the reason behind things, the meaning to things. But at this point, all I can do is do the same that she did. to whoever it may be to. And and carry that on, because that's the only way I'll ever feel that ever again. And I was watching Candy Johnson. She lost her father, and she had put out a video for anyone who's lost somebody and how to go through the holidays with them. Without them. And she said that her grandma, that her grandma told her that after she passes away, that every year on the day that she passed away, that she wants them to have strawberry pie in her memory. It's not a bad day. It's a day to remember and, honor them. And I think that what I'm going to be doing from now on is doing everything that she did for anyone else. No judgment, no questions asked. I'm just going to give. And I'm going to let that live on. To see how it helps someone else, to see how it brightens someone else's day, life, morning, afternoon, next 5 minutes, is how I'll be able to remember what she's done. And that's how I'll be able to get a Christmas gift from her every year. So I would hope, family, mainly talking to you now, I would hope that you all would do the same with me. Anyone else who Grandma has touched in some way, whether you knew her, whether you met her or you didn't, I'm going to ask you all to do the same. I refuse to let anyone forget about her, because she refused to ever not be heard. And so that's what I want everyone to do this Christmas. If she has helped you in any way, through me, through her specifically, help me, help her, help us keep that memory going, because it truly was the greatest gift that she could give me. It was. It really was. So, sorry. Let me come back. Sorry. Anyway, kind of lost my train of thought there. I didn't lose my train of thought, but I went, I took a little bit much more. But let me come back. I want to show everyone something that I picked up the other day, because it kind of gives me a little bit of what I'm talking about now, the feeling of giving and the memories that you'll always have from that, from what you give. If you have children, Grandma always, we always talked about the Bible and Jesus and everything. My Grandma Pearl, one of Grandma's best friends, she always gave me these really cute, like little Bible story books. They're like really thin paper, books that had like 10 pages in it or something. I don't know. But it's really hard to find them now. And it's a really good way to tell kids how to, the stories of the Bible, to introduce them to, you know, when they get their first Bible and whatnot. And honestly, even for adults, if it's a little difficult for you to go through the Bible and really understand, get a visual. I mean, the Bible series DVD is out now, so you can, I mean, that's a little easier. But that left some parts out, some of the Bible stories out. So now, what I found is this book. I found it at Barnes and Noble. No, Barnes and Noble. No, Border. No, yeah, Barnes and Noble. It is $16.99 at Barnes and Noble, but you can probably get it on Amazon or wherever it's cheaper. I don't know. I was there. This is what I saw. And it's super cute. There is, so there's the story of Moses, and there is, hold on. Can't see it. Christmas, story about Christmas. No, but, no, wait a minute. That's not even the right one. Oh, it's because I'm, well, for goodness sakes. Wait. I must have just lost it. There it is. See? Yes. No. There we go. Anyway. Okay. And there's just a ton of different stories in here. They're all in here, and they're so cute. Who wrote this? Sarah Young. She makes it understandable for kids, and so, you know, some of the more racy stories, like Adam and Eve, a little bit. She makes it more child appropriate so that they understand as a child would, and then, you know, when you grow up, obviously you'll read the full length of it. But it's a really good book. I bought this for one of the little kids, one of the little children, and I love it. Actually, I was reading it last night. Taught me a lot. I mean, not teachable. Anyway, whatever. It speaks to you, even as an adult. It's really good. Seriously, definitely pick this up for your kids. The age is on it. It doesn't, I don't think it says, but I love, I'm going to read the dedication because it's super special. To the parents and grandparents who invest time and energy in reading this Bible storybook to their children and grandchildren, your loving involvement in reading these stories and answering questions is commendable and absolutely essential. So true. Right, Grandma? Mm-hmm. Yep. It is. And I thank God every day for the gift He gave me, and not just His Son, but in Grandma. If I didn't have Grandma, I really don't know where I would be. I don't know what kind of life I would have had, what kind of life I would have grew into. But because of her, not only did she save my life as a child, as a baby, but she gave me life through Jesus and the stories of the Bible and the teachings and foregoing. So I will always, always be grateful for that. If nothing else in my life ever, if I'm ever ungrateful for anything, that will always be the one thing that I will never be able to be more thankful for. So we're going in with that. But I just wanted to say Merry Christmas to everyone. Really didn't mean to get so emotional. I really didn't. I thought I was going to be able to get through that one easier than I did, but I didn't. Anyway, Merry Christmas to everyone. Make sure everyone out there that make sure your loved ones understand and know that you love them, that they are your greatest gift. And again, to the family, I would really hope that this year and every year forward, in a way to remember Grandma, is to just give with your heart. Give as much as you can with your whole heart. Make those memories. Make those memories, and gosh, there's just I wish it's like I know here what I'm trying to say, and it's getting a little more difficult to put it out there. I don't know why it is. Make somebody's Christmas better. Give them a memory. Make them understand that it's just coming from the bottom of your heart. And let them take that memory and do the same every year. With your friends, with your family, grandchildren, children, your nieces and nephews, and cousins, and just everyone. The stranger, with those less fortunate. I know I've got some friends that do different donation type things, programs and whatnot. Those of you who are close to Grandma, I would ask even more for you guys to do it even more. To these people who may never know the love that she gave us, that may never understand that kind of love. We are an extension of her, and it's up to me to share our story, but I would hope that the rest of us, or the rest of you, would help me in doing the same, and show others the love that they deserve, and share her love that others never got to experience, because it's amazing. It really was. It is. It is amazing. All right. I'm gonna cut it short. It's not short. It's an hour. Sorry. Well, that's like a live stream. We used to go for an hour. But sorry. Yeah, I need to cut it short because this is all gonna start running. So we'll just stop there. Again, Merry Christmas, everyone. Spread His love. Let's spread Grandma's memory. And I would love to hear all of your stories. If you have taken the challenge, the Grandma Challenge, that's what we'll call it. We'll call it the Grandma Challenge. So if you have, and you guys have any opportunity to share her love, our story, whatever it is, I'd love to hear about it. And I know that she'd be really happy. All right, everyone. I will see you soon, and God bless, and I hope you all have a Merry Christmas.